So today's story, it's one of those cases that gets truly, truly chilling. 23-year-old Kaylee Sawyer, she just vanishes after like a drunken argument with her boyfriend in what was supposed to be, the safest neighborhood in town. We're gonna get into how a simple late night walk, just to cool off, resulted in this nightmare that actually spanned 2 states. But the most terrifying part of this story, it's who was behind her disappearance. It turned out to be someone whose entire job, their job was literally to protect her. Someone, frankly, nobody ever saw coming. Definitely make sure you stayed until the end, because that's when we'll try to figure out what pushed this person to do something so insane. So hey, everyone, let me know where you're from, what time it is for you, what the weather's like. Also, let me know what your favorite drink is. All right, so let's get into it. 23-year-old Kaylee Ann Sawyer, she was born to Julie Van Cleve, but also Jamie Sawyer on March 2nd, 1993. Her parents split up when she was, just a little kid, which I guess that's a pretty classic story, right? But eventually they both got remarried, which, hey, that's pretty good. At least they found their own happiness, Kaylee, she remained close with both of her parents plus her step-parents. Her dad, Jamie, he married a woman named Crystal, while her mom, Julie, married a man named Chris. She was also the first grandchild, like the oldest, plus the only girl in her immediate family. So you can just imagine, Kaylee was like completely adored all the time. Yeah, of course, first grandkid, only girl. That automatically makes you the center of the universe, right? Kaylee was also the big sister to 4 younger brothers, Zach, Cody, Jaden, plus Caleb. 4. Can you imagine the chaos in that house? So when Kaylee was little, she apparently couldn't pronounce Kaylee Sawyer correctly. So she started calling herself KK Foyer. The name it stuck. Her family, lovingly called her that her entire childhood. It's sweet, right? Those little kid nicknames, they always feel like the warmest ones. Growing up, she was described as just sweet, always happy, always smiling, bringing joy to everyone around her. She really loved to read, Her favorite book was actually Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. The people in her life, they felt like incredibly lucky just to know such an amazing person. It sounds like a perfect picture, doesn't it? Maybe, I don't know, maybe a little too perfect. Kaylee, she was a cheerleader in high school, had a ton of friends. Apparently, her parents often had to rein her in a little, because if they gave her an inch, she'd run a mile. What I mean is, she was active, she had spirit, She just loved living life to the fullest. But she was also just a really good, sweet, happy person. So in 2016, Kaylee was living the life of a pretty typical 23-year-old girl. That's the age, right? It feels like absolutely everything's ahead of you. During the day, she worked as a dental assistant at a clinic called Aubrey Dental. Plus, she was taking classes at Central Orange College. She wanted to become a dentist herself someday. Makes sense. So by 2016, she'd been dating her boyfriend Cameron Reimhofer for 2 years. They seemed, really happy, really in love. They were even, making plans to get engaged, get married in the future. People who knew the couple, they were just completely thrilled for them. Especially Kaylee's family. They just adored Cameron. Sounds like I guess the guy successfully passed all the possible family inspections, Kaylee, Cameron, they lived together in Bend, Oregon. Their apartment was near the college campus. It was a really nice, upscale, safe area. I'm going to ask you to remember those keywords. Upscale, safe. It was an area frequently patrolled by security staff. On July 23rd, 2016, Kaylee went to her friend Lisa's bachelorette party. Now at first, Kaylee wasn't even going to go. She actually told people she'd be out of town. It was, that's the classic excuse when you just don't feel like going, right? But last minute, she decided she wanted to go after all. Girls will be girls, I guess. So Kaylee met up with her friends at this country western bar called Mavericks in downtown Bend, just after 8 p.m. Kaylee was having an amazing time. Just, having fun. She was wearing this little black dress. She looked so cute. After a bit, the party, it kind of wrapped up early. Some of the friends decided to head home around 10:30 p.m., which, let's be honest, that's pretty early for a bachelorette party. But Kaylee, she was still having a good time. She was also, a bit drunk, so she just wasn't ready to go home. So she, plus one other friend, they decided to keep the party going. They headed to another bar downtown. I swear, there's always that one other friend for those kinds of adventures, At the second bar, Kaylee had a few more drinks, then she was dancing with some guy she had just met. So right here, this is where we start getting into dangerous territory. The friend, she saw Kaylee doing this, then she texted Cameron to let him know what was going on. Wow, some friend, right? Totally tattled on her to the boyfriend. All right, so shortly after midnight, Cameron shows up at the bar to get Kaylee. Now this part, it's a little unclear, honestly, how it happened. But on the drive home, they got into an argument. That was pretty much to be expected, right? Probably about what happened back at the bar. When they got back to their apartment complex, Cameron parked the car. But Kaylee was, obviously still fuming from the fight. So Cameron, he went upstairs to the apartment just to let Kaylee sit in the car for a bit. To cool off. About 10 minutes later, Cameron came back downstairs to check on Kaylee. But she was already gone. Apparently, she'd gone for a walk, to blow off steam, clear her head, which, for Kaylee, this was actually unusual when she was upset. This wasn't something she normally did. So Cameron tried texting Kaylee around 12:30. He said, "Where are you? Please come home, talk to me." Kaylee texted back, "At least you're unfair." What a joke. "Sorry, I'm not good enough for you." To which Cameron replied, "I don't understand how you can say that." Then Kaylee responded, "If you wanted me, you could, but you don't care." Just the standard accusations when emotions totally take over your logic, plus the alcohol just fuels the whole fire. "If you even cared a little, you'd know where I am. Sorry, I'm not as important as your phone." This apparently was Kaylee continuing, just fueled by the alcohol, feeling hurt. Cameron replied, "Kaylee, please, just come home, be with me. I don't want to play this game. I'll start looking, but please, help me." Then Kaylee told Cameron her phone was about to die, which, that's the classic final act of any late-night drama, right? At that point, Cameron told her he was driving slowly, back, forth, on the road to the college, but he didn't see her. So, he was actually looking for her. He wasn't just sitting in the apartment waiting for her to cool down. So Kaylee sent him one last text, asking, "Are you kidding me? Because this stuff, nonsense? Goodbye, turn off your phone." That was it. The connection just gone. Cameron replied to Kaylee, "Kaylee, please," but obviously it was too late. The message, it probably didn't even go through. So when Cameron woke up in the morning, Kaylee wasn't in bed with him. He wasn't in the apartment at all. That moment, it must have been just awful. That instant when the hangover meets cold, sober reality. Cameron tried calling her, but her phone, it was still off. He thought, okay, maybe she's at a friend's house. Her phone just died. That's the first logical thought, right? It's the attempt to reassure yourself. Her dad, Jamie, plus her stepmom, Crystal, they were at church when Cameron started trying to reach Jamie. At that moment, Cameron, he just didn't know, right? Was he overreacting? Was he panicking for no reason? He couldn't find her. He probably felt, I don't know, like an idiot, not knowing if this was all just a holdover from the fight last night or if this was something actually serious. Jamie, her dad, at first, he didn't really think much of it. He just figured, it was a bad night. She probably just crashed at a friend's place. Plus, you gotta remember, Kaylee was also kinda known for, taking off. Just walking away when things got heated, when stuff went wrong. It was sort of her style to just disappear for a bit, cool down. So really, that was another big reason why they thought, okay, maybe she just went to a friend's or something like that. Just to blow off steam, ride out the storm. But Cameron, he was still, terrified. His intuition, it seems, was working way better than the parents' logic at this point. So he even called Kaylee's grandmother, Sharon. He went over to Kaylee's mom, Julie's house. He alerted absolutely everyone he could possibly think of, since nobody knew where Kaylee was, but time just kept relentlessly ticking by. Cameron called 911, which, in the end, that was the only right decision to make.
Dispatch, how can I help you? Hello?
Hi. I'm not sure if this is quite the right number to call. Last night I got home from the bars with my girlfriend, and she got upset at me and ran off. And I chased her and wasn't able to find her, and I still haven't heard from her. Her phone's off. I called all her family, and they haven't heard from her, so I'm wondering what you recommend I do.
We can put in a call, and we can have officers or deputies look for her.
Okay.
And where was she last seen at?
College Way.
College and what?
Alpine Meadows apartment complex. It's like at the top of College Way.
In that apartment complex?
Yes.
In a specific apartment or?
In the parking lot.
Just in the parking lot? You guys don't live there? Or?
Yes, we live there together.
Okay, what's the address? And what's the apartment number? And this is her address as well, the Aubrey Pines?
Yes.
Okay. And it was last night?
Yeah.
About what time?
It was like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Take out walking or something from this address? Like, she was mad?
Yeah, she was mad at me, so I walked inside and told her to come meet me, and then when she's like, calm down. And then I went back out in 10 minutes, and she was gone. And I called her a few times, and she said she was walking down the street. And then I guess she said her phone was about to die, and then I couldn't get a hold of her after that. I haven't heard from her since.
Okay. She took off on foot?
Yes.
What's her last name?
Sawyer.
S-A-W-Y-E-R?
Yes.
First name?
Kaylee. Kaylee.
And what's her date of birth?
March 2nd, 1993.
And she's got her phone with her?
She did last I saw her, but it's been dead all day, and
what's the phone
I imagine she would charge it. Let me look at my phone real quick.
Sure.
All right.
Do you know what carrier it is?
It is Verizon.
And does she have a vehicle? Is it parked in the parking lot, or?
She has a vehicle. It's parked at her friend's house, and I've been over there and talked to her friend, and she hasn't heard from her either.
And the vehicle's still there?
Yep.
And what's the color, make, and model?
It's a Subaru Impreza, and it's like a dark grayish blue.
Do you happen to know the plate on it?
I don't.
That's fine. And it's parked at a friend's house?
Yes.
Any idea where she would go, or?
I don't know. I figured she'd go where her car was to her best friend's or her mom's, and I've been over to both. Talked to her dad, and I just haven't heard anything from anybody knowing this.
Okay. Does she go to, like, have a job that she needs to be at that she missed or anything like that?
Not today. She has work tomorrow at Aubrey Dental.
Okay. And any diagnosed mental or physical health issues?
No, none that I know of.
Okay.
Dispatch, how can I help you?
Yes, I need to have an officer call me. My daughter is missing, and she is over 23, but she has epilepsy and some medical issues.
What's the address that she's missing from?
It's her boyfriend's. She and her boyfriend, they live up at the Regency by COCC. I don't have the exact address.
Okay. Are you able to get it?
I'm driving up there right now to talk with him and see what's going on so I can call back with that. But her boyfriend did call, and the police officer said, well, just keep looking for her. And she,
What's the phone number he would have called from? Do you know?
Oh, gosh. Do you know Cam's phone number? Okay.
All right. And what is your name?
My name is Julie, Juli. Last name Van Cleve, VANCLEAVE.
And your phone number? Okay. I'm going to have the officer who spoke with her boyfriend earlier give you a call, okay?
That would be awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I mean, it seems like her parents, they felt worried, probably, for good reason, that the police just didn't take Cameron's call all that seriously. Well, of course, right? A drunk girl, she had a fight with her boyfriend, then she walked off. What a tragedy for a Saturday night, So during the call, I'm pretty sure actually, Julie mentioned that Kaylee had epilepsy, which, that detail, it fundamentally changes the whole situation. So even though Kaylee's seizures, they remained well controlled, it still presented a huge risk factor. You see, someone with those kinds of health issues, they usually get much more attention, to find them, especially if they need medication. That really should have set off immediate red flags for the officers. So all day Sunday, Kaylee's friends, they looked for her too, but she just never came home that night. Plus, even though people kept trying, to call her, her phone just wouldn't turn on. So the fact that Kaylee didn't plug it in, didn't find any way to charge it, not even to talk to her parents, which apparently she always did, that started to cause some serious concern. With every passing hour, really, that level of worry, it just kept climbing relentlessly. At this point, they'd already made a missing person poster. They got them posted up. Then community members also started searching for Kaylee. Julie, her husband, they drove around for hours looking for Kaylee, scouring every single street. They even went by the college plus Cameron's apartment. But what did the police say? The police basically told her to go home, said they would pass the case to detectives on Monday, the next day. Go home, don't get in the way. We'll sort it out tomorrow morning. So at 7:30 p.m., Kaylee, she got entered into the database, as missing, plus endangered. But, this only happened after zero information, zero word from her for over 18 hours. 18 hours. That feels like an eternity in a situation like this. So next, the officers, they interview Cameron, her boyfriend. Of course, right? When someone goes missing, the first person they usually look at for information or, who falls under suspicion, it tends to be the partner. Just protocol, really. Now, at first, his story, it raised a few questions, Probably, I guess, because of that fight they had. But Cameron, he seemed genuinely, truly worried about Kaylee. He seemed super cooperative. He literally turned everything over. He let them look at his phone, his computer, his car, really just anything they needed. That behavior, it comes from someone with absolutely nothing to hide, right? So yeah, they pretty quickly ruled him out as a suspect. They also interviewed some of Kaylee's friends. Then they too got quickly ruled out. Everyone apparently had an alibi. The police also figured, okay, maybe there's a chance Kaylee went off to meet that guy, the one she met at the bar, the one she danced with. That makes sense, right? Considering the whole argument started because of him, so they tracked this guy down. He told the police he didn't even get Kaylee's number. So while they still tried to find Kaylee, while this fruitless search continued, something completely unexpected happened. Just a sudden, massive pivot in the case. A woman named Isabel Poncherella. She walked into the Redmond police station. Now, Isabel herself, she worked as a rookie police officer in Bend, Oregon. Eventually, they held a second interview with Isabel, which, provided a lot of new information. Edwin, he worked the night shift, somewhere from 3 p.m. until 2 or 2:30 a.m. on the 23rd, going into the 24th. That exact night, the one Kaylee disappeared. Apparently, they talked a little bit during his shift. Mostly, texting about some PowerPoint slideshow Edwin made. On the 25th, that's the Monday, the same day Kaylee missed work, the day the panic hit its peak. Edwin, At 10:30 a.m., he got out of bed, walked into the living room where Isabel watched TV. Isabel noticed his eyes. They looked super watery. He looked absolutely devastated. So, she asked him what happened, turned off the TV just to give him her full attention. This is where it all started. He then told her that during a shift the night before, he hit a woman with his work vehicle. He panicked. Then he hid the body. Then Edwin, he grabbed her gun from her purse, told her he had to go. The situation, it just became critical. As he left, he told her the woman's things. They were in the shed. The evidence. So Isabel, she went in there, she saw all the items, then a short time later, she went to the police station. She made, the hard choice between her husband, her duty. Isabel, she seemed extremely emotional during the interview. It felt totally obvious. She had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to this woman, the one Edwin hit. She was just a wife who had just found out her husband. He was either a monster or, at the very least, a criminal, hiding a terrible, terrible secret.
It makes sense to me that I think he was seeing that I wasn't believing it, it felt like a movie, it wasn't making any sense to me. But when I saw the stuff, I'm like, oh fuck.
But he never said what. All he said was he hit her and he panicked. He never said.
But it wasn't making any sense to me because I'm like, why would somebody do that, especially you, especially him? It doesn't make any sense.
Did he say when this happened?
So the police, they couldn't believe what they were hearing. It was like a complete, total break from reality. It wasn't just a disturbing story on its own, but then you add the fact he worked in security, a guy whose whole job, literally, was helping people, making sure they were safe. It's the direct, fundamental opposite of his job description, right? Plus, he had a criminal justice degree, then confessed to his wife, who's also a cop. That's just a wild combination, isn't it? Why, would he hide her body? That turned into the main question, the one that wouldn't go away. If this was just some random, accidental collision, why hide the body? At that point, right, Isabel, she didn't know where he headed, but she told them, hey, maybe he's heading for California. So it didn't take, too long for the officers to start piecing everything together. Look, they searched for a young girl named Kaylee. She vanished from the exact same area, at the exact same time. Then, suddenly, someone says a woman got hit, her body hidden. You do the horrible math. So they put out an alert, to all officers. Be on the lookout for his silver Altima. They managed to get a search warrant for Edwin, Isabel's house. Then inside the shed, they found a trash bag. When they looked inside that trash bag, they found, it meant the end of all hope. Inside, they found a green purse, just in terrible condition. High-heeled shoes, a wallet, plus a passport, all belonging to Kaylee. Also, the passport she used for ID, during the bachelorette party. There also existed another plastic bag. Inside, they found a lock of blonde hair, also in a terrible state. But then, get this, a boulder completely covered in evidence. Yeah, so much for accidentally hit her with a car, right? A boulder? Where on earth did a boulder come from in this story? They also found his work uniform completely, just covered in evidence. But as if that wasn't enough, right? To figure out who they dealt with? If she just got hit by a car, why then a boulder covered in evidence? A boulder, that perfectly matches the description of blunt object from his own serial killer poster. What about the hair, the purse, both found in that condition? It became, more obvious. This could not just be some random accidental collision into a homicide investigation. They reached out to the FBI for help. Plus, they had to notify Kaylee's family about this horrible change in status. So 2 detectives, they showed up at the house of Kaylee's father, Jamie. Jamie, he talked with them, then He went back to his bedroom where his wife, Crystal, waited. Jamie told her, "My worst nightmares, they just came true." Then he told her it had become a homicide case. The same news, got delivered to Kaylee's mom, Julie. The next morning, searches for Kaylee, they were scheduled to happen. So meanwhile, while all this unfolded, Edwin, he remained free. He remained on the run. They needed to find him, plus find him fast. But, he felt disconnected. He came unhinged. But he didn't just stay on the run, his, crime spree. It seemed like it just got started. He developed a taste for it. Edwin, he swapped cars at his parents' house, which, meant he no longer drove that Nissan Altima everyone searched for. A smart move, you gotta admit. So now he drove to Salem, parked near a Ross Dress for Less store on the evening of the 25th. Right there, he just waited, like a predator, waiting for his perfect opportunity. That opportunity, I guess, presented itself when he saw 19-year-old Andrea all alone in her car. Andrea, she sat talking on her phone, taking Snapchat pictures of herself, after a long shift at work. Then, all of a sudden, someone leaned up against Andrea's car window. What she thought, was a coworker just messing with her, turned out to be Edwin. Edwin, he reached his hand through the barely cracked passenger window, then he unlocked the door. He used that opportunity to show a gun, threaten her, plus force her to drive. Her car, it ran on fumes practically, so they had to stop, get gas. I mean, this feels like a chance, right? A moment to call for help, but nope. He warned her, if she made eye contact with anyone at that gas station, he would shoot them. But it would be her fault. I mean, that's just classic manipulation, right? Shifting the blame just to paralyze the victim with fear. She begged him, just take my car. But he didn't want that. The car, it wasn't enough for him. He wanted her car plus her. Yeah, so shortly after the drive started, he explained she would be driving him to California. However, about an hour in, he started to really panic. He got worried she drove too fast, they'd get pulled over. So he switched seats with her, but before he did, he put handcuffs on her, so she couldn't escape. So right here, things get even worse. During the drive, Edwin told her that he ended Kaylee's life, and he even showed her news reports about Kaylee on his phone. So, I can't even imagine the fear she already felt, right? Being kidnapped, but especially then. When he confessed he'd taken a life, plus now she found herself in handcuffs with literally no way out of this situation. He even tried asking her personal questions about her life. Edwin made Andrea, seem like his partner. He warned her beforehand, right? If she tried to call for help, he would end her life too. So once they got in the room, Edwin took a shower. But Andrea, she remained handcuffed to the bathroom door, with a shirt placed over her head. It's just a horrifying, surreal scene. Then he tried, to lure her into the shower, but she refused. He forced her to take sleeping pills. Plus, he even said if she didn't take them, he had syringes to, force the substance on her. Then Edwin, of course, he started making, unwanted advances toward Andrea, who remained handcuffed to the bed. He started with inappropriate contact, then asked her some extremely personal, inappropriate questions. But seriously, thank goodness she had an alarm set on her phone, which just happened to go off at that exact moment. Just some divine coincidence, right? Total intervention of fate. But when he asked her, what the alarm was for, she showed this incredible quick thinking. She told him it acted as a reminder to take her medication for a really serious, dangerous medical condition she had. Of course, he questioned her about this condition. He told Andrea they needed to leave. He felt convinced, that helicopters, they searched for him now. So they got back in the car, left around 1:30 a.m. He planned to throw her in front of him, use her as a human shield, plus let her be the one to get shot instead of him. Just a pathetic coward. But get this, he also wore a bulletproof vest. So Andrea, she really acted as like double protection for him. So as they kept driving, he took Andrea's phone, then recorded a video, forcing her, to keep driving.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say that I apologize for everything I've done. Most likely I'm going to get caught. And sorry about that girl in Central Oregon. And I also want to let family members, Andrea, that she's fine and she will be fine because so far she's been doing what I've been told her to do. And if you guys are wondering if I have done dirty things to her, no. All right, I'm not that kind of guy. I used to kill that other girl, and I regret it. I regret killing her. She kept screaming, and I had to silence her forever. So, like I say, she's still fine. We're driving, and she'll be home pretty soon. I'm sorry to her grandma and her family members, to her boyfriend. I'm sorry for everything that I caused. Okay, and you'll see her pretty soon. Okay, tell the cops that not to shoot us, because if they shoot us, then that's not my fault. Okay, but sorry, everybody. Bye.
So she posted it, but like with the settings changed to only me, meaning it wasn't for the public. It felt more like, I don't know, digital proof that only she could see, which, that's just really weird. But I guess maybe it was her way of like documenting the moment, or, maybe he made her do it. So yeah, it basically meant nobody except her could see it, at least, at that point in time. At some point, they also switched drivers again. Plus, Edwin got back behind the wheel. He clearly didn't trust her to drive, right? Especially with the panic starting to build up. Plus, he, no longer controlled the situation the way he wanted. So they say that Edwin also, around that time, called Isabel, his wife, the cop. But she, of course, she tried to get him to surrender. She, begged him to stop before it got way too late. That must have been just an absolutely surreal call for her, right? A police officer trying to convince her own husband, a fugitive, to just give himself up. So it was because of that call, or, at least because the phone stayed on, they apparently managed to get a connection, a ping, from his cell phone on Interstate 5 near Redding, California. That was the lead they needed, That electronic footprint, it just pointed right to his exact location. So a full-blown chase started up. Then at 6:40 a.m., realizing, he felt cornered. Plus, he had no more options. Edwin did the most unexpected thing. He called 911 himself. Yeah, he called the cops that were chasing him. That 911 call, it's really, really long. A total real-time drama, the audio recording of his final breakdown. But, I just can't share the specific audio from that call due to, platform policies.
911 emergency reporting.
Yes, hi. This is Edwin Lara, and I'm the guy on Interstate 5, going at high speed. I know you guys have the chopper on me already.
Yeah.
And, I just want to say I am going to turn myself in.
Okay, where are you at?
Okay, I'm on I-5. I think close to Redding, if I'm right. So, I am wanted for murder in the state of Oregon.
Okay. Edwin, yeah. Where are you at right now? Can you stop?
I am going to stop once I hit Redding. Once I'm in Redding, I'm going to stop.
Okay, can you tell me where you are right now?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Let's see. There's a sign right here. 50 miles from Redding.
You're 50 miles from Redding. Can you see a mile mark or anything?
From Corning.
You're 50 miles from Corning.
Yeah, 50 miles from Corning. 50 miles south or north of Corning.
Are you by yourself or?
No, I have someone with me. I kidnapped her in Oregon. She's innocent. Her name is Andrea. What's your last name?
He doesn't know.
I'll let you. I'll let her give her last name. So you can call her family. Okay.
Okay.
Just give me a second.
What's your name?
Hello?
Yeah, hi. What's your name?
Andrea?
Andrea, what's your last name?
Maes, M-A-E-S?
Okay, are you heard at all, Andrea?
No.
No? Okay.
I want to ask you a favor.
Uh-huh.
So I have asthma.
You have asthma? Okay.
Yeah. So you tell them not to be too rough on me, because I can barely breathe right now. All right. So that's all I wanted to say.
You
I
need
don't
any
want.
kind of medical or?
Yeah. Well, I think so. I'm gonna need my inhaler. I forgot my inhaler at home. I went all over Salem, Oregon, looking for an inhaler, but I guess they don't sell it, behind the counter or out of counter. So
I mean, the fact that his main concern at that moment was his inhaler. It blows my mind, Like, seriously, sir? You just ended the life of a 23-year-old girl, Kaylee. You abducted a 19-year-old, Andrea. You shot another man, Jack. Plus, you kidnapped 3 more people, like a whole family. But your inhaler, that's the biggest problem here? I mean, that's just some other level of, being detached from reality. A total, a complete failure in judging priorities. Get a grip. What are you even talking about?
I am wanted for the death of Kaylee Sawyer at Bend, Oregon.
What's the girl's name? Kaylee what?
Sawyer?
Sawyer?
Yes. Or Swire, maybe?
And she was from Bend, Oregon?
Yes. I just want to say that it was an accident. So I work for campus public safety there. And she was really drunk, and I didn't see her, and I ran her over.
Okay.
And then after that, I just she was still breathing, and then she was screaming, and I decided to silence her forever.
Okay.
And I am very remorseful for that, and I know this is being recorded, and I just want to say to the family of Kaylee that I am sorry. I am sorry for what I did to her, and in time I will tell them where the body is. I will just, that way she can rest in peace.
Do you want to let me know, or just have this recorded where it is?
No, I remember.
Okay.
So, hopefully the police officer doesn't shoot me, and I'll survive,
Yeah. Well,
But
we're not going to let that happen. You just do what you're supposed to do and do what you're told to do.
So, Edwin, he told the operator, right, that there were notes left on his car. The notes from the car he left in the Ross parking lot back when he abducted Andrea. He's worried about some notes? Seriously? After everything he did, he's stressing about pieces of paper on an old car. So, eventually, after 13 long minutes talking to that 911 operator, he pulled over. And guess what he does? He hands the phone to Andrea, who was, totally understandably, just terrified by what was happening. She's his hostage, his human shield. And now, she's also the negotiator? That's just, it's insane. And look, this is where I gotta say, that 911 operator, she was absolutely incredible. Her reaction, her ability to stay just completely calm while talking to a panicking, person who'd done this. I honestly think it played a huge role in why Edwin decided to stop. She didn't provoke him. She negate him. I genuinely believe, if she had said a few things differently, if she'd raised her voice or sounded judgmental, he might not have stopped. And the outcome could have been totally different, tragically different. especially for Andrea.
Johnny, Southern Progress, Southern Telegraph. Get your hands up! Get up! Step out of the vehicle! You got me? Step out of the vehicle! Turn around! Turn around! Keep turning around! Walk back! Step over to your right. Step over to your right. Away from traffic. Drop down to your knees. Don't move.
Oh, and Andrea, by the way, she was also, technically taken into custody. I mean, that's just standard protocol, right? You gotta interview the kidnapping victim, figure out absolutely all the details of, what went down. So, after his arrest, Edwin, he was interrogated for 6 hours while he was, being held there in California. 6 hours, man, that's a long, really grueling interrogation. They read him his Miranda rights, plus his consular rights, but he didn't ask for a lawyer right then, which, honestly, that's pretty weird, I mean, especially considering his wife's a cop. You'd think he'd know the system, from the inside. But nope, he just started giving information. Freely. It just seems like, I don't know, he just broke. Or I guess maybe he decided the game was over. No point in hiding anymore. He drew them a map. Literally, he took a pen, paper, drew a map showing exactly where to find Kaylee's body. The spot he named, it was on Highway 126, right across the street from a mailbox. Number 18700. He remembered the exact number, 18700. I mean, what a cold, just chilling detail, right? So during the search of his house, they found a Bible, one that apparently was really frequently used. Looked like, read to pieces. So they really tried to connect his religion to all this, his, man of God habits, in their effort to understand the motive, to, get inside this guy's head. But I mean, how does that even fit together? A serial killer poster in the shed, but, holy scriptures in the house? At first, Edwin, he just kept claiming he hit Kaylee by accident. He was still, sticking to that one story, even with the boulder, plus all the other evidence they found back in the shed.
What happened, man? What happened? The straight up, what happened?
So I was putting the signs up where there was an event going on.
It's a college.
It's cyclist event or whatever. I was in a hurry because I wanted to get out of here. And I was gonna turn south on College Way on the D4 lot. So I was gonna turn south on the do not enter area there. And I didn't see her, she was wearing all black. So I was in a hurry, so it was my fault. And I wasn't expecting anybody, at that time of night, so I just turned and I didn't hit her that hard. I just bumped her with the patrol car, bumped her with the front rack. And she fell down. And at first I thought, first thing I killed her, but I didn't hit her that hard. So I got off the car and she was really drunk. And then she looks at me and then she started screaming.
She started screaming
Yeah.
at you.
She did. So I panicked and I just grabbed her by the throat and told her, shut up, shut up, shut up. So she passed out. put her on the back of the patrol car, drove her up the B12 lot, and then I was panicking. I didn't know what to do. She already seen me. She saw my face. So I opened the door, and that's when she came back. She started screaming again. So I grabbed the truck home, and I was telling her, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. She was just struggling to scream. So I threw her down and I hit over a rock on the head. After that, I dragged her body behind a tree there and I hit her with another rock.
Eventually, he confessed to, well, doing something else, something terrible to Kaylee. But he, justified it by saying she was already, gone. I mean, that's just, it's beyond disgusting. It's like, then they kept using his religious beliefs, as a tactic. They started, pushing on that well-read Bible, the one they found in his house, just trying to break through that wall of lies, using his own supposed faith.
I respect you enough, Edwin, at this point, that I've asked you for detail, and now I'm going to give you my own. Okay? Those are the cold, hard facts. Does God still love you? Will He forgive you? Will He bring you back into His heart? Will He? Questions you have to answer for yourself. But the truth of the matter is that her blood cries out, man, that her life is gone. It will never be replaced. The truth of the fact is this: what you mistook for a hooker was an absolute angel, was the apple of her mom and dad's eye, was the breath that they breathed, that they spent and cultivated all their life raising and growing. And she is gone forever with your semen all over her. That's the truth, man. Okay? It's brutal. It's hard to say. It's hard to sit in here. But you got to face it before you can look your God in the eye and ask for that forgiveness and be able to receive it.
So, I guess, after the interrogation finally got to him, once the detectives apparently just pushed all the right buttons, especially that faith angle, he finally just gave up. He broke. Plus, he told them, about his desire to end lives.
So, I think all throughout my life, I have struggled with somehow the urge to kill. But what has helped me not develop that, in a sense, was when I married my wife. It kind of dissipated because I had something to look forward to.
He even told them that at one point he'd planned on, harming his ex-girlfriend's uncle. But I guess he just never actually went through with it. What I'm trying to say is this desire to harm, it wasn't new, right? It already lived inside him. He was just waiting for an opportunity, just looking for a victim. So while he was in that interrogation room, Edwin, he wrote letters to Kaylee's parents, apparently, at the detective's request, which, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty standard interrogation tactic, right? You, force the person to confront the actual human grief they caused. You try to, break through that wall of, I don't know, narcissism. So then, the detective, he suggested that Edwin should read them, out loud.
Is this addressed to Dad?
Yeah, the last one is for CNCC.
Okay. I think it would play pretty well on recording if we read this out loud. It might show some of your emotion. Might show.
Want me to read it?
I would love you to read it. Thank you, sir.
I be trying to ask Katie for forgiveness, but I don't think her soul hears my crying because God doesn't allow the devil to talk to angels. However, I know Katie hears you, and if you find it within your heart, please ask her to forgive me. Please, I beg you. Please. I know that I will spend the rest of my life asking God to forgive me, but I don't think He will. Sir, this is directed to her dad. I am not sure what your name is, but I know for a fact that you love your daughter. I read something that you were desperately looking for her, and that touched the little heart I have within me. I say a little heart, a little bit, because a man like me don't have a heart. Please forgive me, Spirit. Please forgive me, and please ask your wife to forgive me too. I fail you. I fail my community. I fail everyone, including my family. I am really sorry. I beg you. A man like me doesn't deserve the job I had, and I will never have it again.
So at some point during the interview, when he was, clearly starting to, I guess, drift, sorta getting confused in his testimony, he repeatedly said on that 911 call that he abducted her. I mean, it was on the recording, for goodness sake. So right here, I gotta mention this one. Incredibly sad. Just heartbreaking detail. When Kaylee's parents, they got notified, right? That Edwin had been captured. After that chase, they were told there was a woman in the car. Unfortunately, Julie, her mom, she, at first, she thought that woman, that maybe it was Kaylee, that, she was alive, that she'd been rescued. Can you imagine that surge of hope? But, I mean, what a cruel instant disappointment. It's awful to even think about. It feels like inhumanly cruel. The body, the one the DA said they found, it was eventually identified as Kaylee's. Her body, it was found in that exact same spot that Edwin had pointed out on his map. She had been placed on some rocks. Plus, because of how her body rested, the pose it was in. The detective, the one who first found her, he thought she was alive. He thought, she was trying to crawl on the rocks. Just another false, cruel glimmer of hope. But, when he checked for a pulse, he couldn't find one. Kaylee's autopsy, it confirmed what everyone feared. She passed away from severe injuries, consistent with blunt force trauma, resulting in a critical head injury. Plus, there were also signs of asphyxiation, plus other injuries. He didn't just hit her. So Edwin, he got charged in California. Just a whole list of things, which included, the attempted homicide of Jack, kidnapping for Andrea plus the family, carjacking plus assault with a firearm. Eventually, though, right? He got transferred back to Oregon because, that's where the main crime was, so he could be charged with Kaylee's homicide. The trial, I mean, it promised to be just complicated because now, you had 2 states involved in the case, a whole bunch of jurisdictions, plus the charges. They were filed for events that happened in both states. Just a total legal nightmare, On top of that, his lawyers, I mean, of course, right? They immediately started looking for loopholes. They argued that his 6-hour interrogation, plus the confession, they should be suppressed. Just, thrown out as evidence. There were apparently a few reasons for this. So the first one, it's a classic, was that Edwin, he apparently asked for a lawyer when he got to the Tehama County Jail in California. But the people, working at the jail, they supposedly didn't really understand that he asked for a lawyer right then. Oops. What a misunderstanding, right? They thought he asked more about, the order of how things happen. Not, about his actual constitutional right. Just super, super convenient. What's more, apparently, there's a law in California that, when someone gets arrested, brought to jail, they get the right to 3 phone calls within the first 3 hours. Edwin, he wasn't given those 3 calls, which, according to his lawyer, that was a direct violation of his rights. He even complained, right, about the lawyer situation during a phone call with Isabel. His cop wife, who, let's be honest, probably suggested that line of defense to him.
Hi.
Hey, babe. What are you doing?
Well, here, trying to put my life back together.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
So when you were calling earlier, I wasn't able to, it was getting disconnected. So I had to prepay the call to just know that I guess there's some issues there, but I guess you figured it out, or I'm not sure.
No, I didn't. Can you advise my parents of that?
Well, if they pick up, they totally turn off their phone, but yeah.
Okay.
So when is your court? When are you having court?
So right now I feel that all my rights are being violated. Because an attorney hasn't been appointed to me, although, they read my rights when I got here. They're like...
So has hablado o no has hablado?
Yeah, I keep asking for an attorney, and there is no attorney, because for me to be transferred to Oregon, and that's going to take a while. All I want is a lawyer. That's all I want. I want a freaking lawyer, because my rights are being violated right now. And a lawyer was supposed to be appointed to me from the moment I asked for a lawyer. And I've been asking for lawyers since I got basically booked yesterday or whenever that was, 2 days ago. I don't know what day it is today. I don't even know what time it is. I love you.
So okay, I'm doing what I could do for you.
Just give me that freaking lawyer. That's all I need.
Yes.
The news are going to get here Sunday, so they're going to talk to me on Sunday.
Talk to who?
The news Channel 21.
Talk to you?
Yeah, they want to talk to me. So
entonces estoy en eso, lo que estoy en eso y estoy hablando con tus papás, okay? Okay, so it's getting done.
All right, just get me the lawyer. I just need a lawyer. That's it.
Yes.
Right now, I'm being possibly in prison. At this time. I'm not even know why I'm being booked for. They haven't told me these are your charges or anything like that. That's all I want. I just want a lawyer. Just give me that lawyer.
So the judge, he ruled that Edwin's 6-hour confession, it was inadmissible. It just couldn't be used as evidence. All because of a legal formality. That whole thing about him not getting his phone calls right when he was arrested. This made things really complicated for the prosecution, especially, since they were pushing for the death penalty. However, there was other evidence left, right? The police, they found those 2 notes back at the Ross Dress for Less, the ones Edwin just left there. In one of them, this is just sick. He wrote that Kaylee's body, it was, in a terrible, terrible state. Plus, that the family was lucky to avoid, a brutal trial. This note, written before he got arrested, that became a key, plus a totally legal piece of evidence. So, In January 2018, like 9 months before the trial was even supposed to start, Edwin, he pled guilty, to aggravated homicide, plus robbery. He did it, basically because the evidence, I'm talking, the notes, right? The stuff from the shed, plus Andrea's testimony. It was overwhelming. You know what I mean? Edwin, he was sentenced to life in prison with absolutely no possibility of parole, which I guess that let him avoid the death penalty. Kaylee's family, they were not satisfied with that sentence. During the sentencing, the victim's mother, Julie, she spoke directly to the killer. She said, "Your mother will always be the mother of a killer and a monster."
Number one, to have our Kaylee back with us, alive and well, and pursuing her life. Number two, I wish to have this piece of garbage, the defendant, sentenced to death for what he's done to my Kaylee. And number three, I wish the court system in the state of Oregon would just hand him over to me and allow me to administer the death sentence.
Yeah, so during the sentencing, Kaylee's grandfather, he stated that Edwin would rot in hell. Plus that prison, would be a life experience for him. Edwin himself, he also spoke up, telling the family he could see their pain, anger. Plus, he asked, to someday talk with them, which, a lot of people took that just as pure selfishness. So later on, the details of the homicide, they got revealed by a podcast. Apparently, Edwin, he lured Kaylee into his patrol car. One, that was equipped with a cage. He, apparently, he offered her money, for an inappropriate act. But when she refused, he took her phone, her purse. He attacked her. Plus, drove to a remote parking lot. I think B12. So, there, Kaylee, she regained consciousness. She started fighting back, right? Trying to reach the control panel. Edwin, he overpowered her. He assaulted her again, pulled her from the car. Plus, he used a rock on her, believing, she was gone. He committed another monstrous act. Then, realizing she was still alive, he ended her life using that larger boulder. After that, Edwin just left. He washed the car. Plus, he calmly, talked with a coworker till the end of his shift. Then he went back. He prepared the body, placed her in the trunk, plus drove to that spot on Highway 126. Then he just went home. So, in April 2019, Edwin, he also got sentenced for kidnapping Andrea. At the trial, right? Andrea, she gave a statement calling herself a warrior plus a survivor. Edwin's defense, they tried to blame his crimes on, quote, mental fog. Supposedly, caused by a diagnosis of myotonic dystrophy. The judge just didn't buy it. Plus sentenced Edwin to a second life term. Edwin's wife, Isabel, she filed for divorce. Plus she resigned from the police force. She got, a lot of criticism for not calling 911 immediately. I guess she waited 30 minutes, which, theoretically, that call, it might have prevented Andrea's kidnapping. You also, still got to suspect that Edwin's cousin, Melvin Rosalio Perez Mejia, he might have helped him move the body. Kaylee's family, they filed a lawsuit against the college. They argued, that the administration, they just ignored all the red flags about Edwin's behavior, like his obsession with death, plus showing inappropriate videos to coworkers. The college, they ended up paying the family $2 million in a settlement. That money, it went to found a children's reading program. Also, in May 2019, Kaylee's law got signed to, strengthen security on campuses. Then, in 2021, thieves, John Vieira, Emily Pickett, they burglarized the storage unit where Kaylee's family kept her things. They stole jewelry. But a green glass heart with Kaylee's ashes inside. They threw it in a dumpster behind a motel. At the trial, Kaylee's mom, Julie, she said, "You threw my daughter's body out twice. Now I have to live with the fact my daughter was abandoned 3 times. I mean, it's terrifying, right? To think about what Andrea went through. Plus, how scary that must have been for her, too. And part of me, it just can't stop thinking. If Edwin, in some weird, sick way, wasn't trying to imitate the railroad killer, the one he followed, the one from that poster in his shed, the blunt object, I mean, all of it, the coincidences, they feel just way too obvious, What do you think? I mean, do you believe this was all just some awful coincidence? Or maybe, just maybe, that's what planted the seed in his mind, to commit these horrible acts? Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've already done that, and so you don't miss any other deep dives into true crime cases. Plus, I will talk to you all again really soon. Until the next case, stay safe. Bye.